This week, we'll be talking about everything that happened at Disney's Marvel Games Showcase, aka D23 Expo, all the Assassin's Creed games Ubisoft is thrusting on us. Even China's investing in the Assassin's Creed hype train. How heroes in Overwatch 2 are unlocked and if it's a good idea. AI QI testing in Xbox Mac booty dreams. Xbox offered PlayStation a cod-shaped olive branch and PlayStation finding it inadequate. Game impressions of Tome and Last of Us Remake, and more on Season 6, Episode 35 of Press X to Start podcast. What's up, everyone? I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I am back. The 102nd Dalmatian is here, ready to bark at your next command. I am joined by.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm your heavyweight champion from Wish Niggawood, California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka Mr. 3/5, Marcus.
Marcus, you're more than that. You're like a 4/5, my guy.
Thank you, King.
I am Sean MF Ross.
What that MF stand for?
Huey be shooting.
Oh. Ooh, okay. I like that one.
Is that a Boondocks thing?
I'm gonna fuck you up.
No. Last up.
Hey everyone, I'm Avery.
Nailed it. Look at that. He doesn't know why he hangs out with us, but he does anyways. We appreciate it. All right. Now you know who we are. Press X Start Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. Don't forget, if you've forgotten already, please like this show, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And then also share this podcast, of course, because you just have to do that. And if you're listening to us, please pause the podcast, leave a review, and then come back to this amazing podcast because we are about to get into the quick hits.
We had two video game, the week that we're recording this, we had two big video games, so it's not big, but we had two video game showcases this week. The D23 Marvel, Disney and Marvel Games showcase, which is the breadth of Disney's entire catalog of entertainment now that they no longer have their own publishing house in terms, but they now do have a games, how do I say this? They don't only do publishing, but they have a game branch that controls their games. So shout out to John Drake. Can't even call. I'm not gonna make that joke. And then we had the Ubisoft Forward, which was essentially Ubisoft's big. I'm not sure if they did another Forward earlier in the year, but this is their big showcase for their catalog for the rest of the year and early into next year.
Yeah,
we're gonna go over the D23 event. Me and DJ did a reacts to the actual event itself. So if you want a breakdown of our thoughts in depth of the content I'm gonna point to a box on the screen, and DJ is gonna annotate it, so you can just click on that, and it should take you take you there, or go to our channel, and you can go to the menu, go to the channel, or whatever. Listen to it. You'll get an in-depth. You already know how we ultimately feel about it, but both Marcus and Sean weren't present to attend. So, how did they feel about it as a whole?
I don't feel like I missed anything. The World War II game. Who asked for this?
The Captain America, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
I mean, wait, are we talking about the Ubisoft thing first, or are we talking about
we're talking about the D23.
Okay, I'm excited for the Black Panther game mostly, or Black Panther Cap game mostly because one, I like that team up, and then two,
you say Black Panther Cat game.
I said Black Panther Cap.
It is a cat.
Cap. Oh, okay. I was like, Cat?
I mean, the Panther is a cat,
the
DJ.
Black Panther,
It is, I know.
Black Panther patch of Stray, but yeah, like I like that team up. I think that is Avery had said it off cast, but a lot of the best Captain America stories came during World War II, which is the one World War where we were in the right. So, you know, I get why people want to keep going back into that well.
There was a clear
and then
right and wrong.
Exactly. I mean, literally, when you're fighting something called the axis of evil, you are probably in the right.
To be fair,
Um,
they
I mean,
didn't
did
call
they name themselves that, or
They
did he name
didn't.
them
We
that?
did.
I know,
But-
but still. But still.
Hey,
Were they
The
wrong?
winners make the history, you know what I mean?
Not something to be proud of.
No, it's
Not
not.
at all, no.
But then
I'm playing the
also
trailer right
Amy
now, by the way.
Amy Henning's like really good at what she does as well, and so I have a lot of faith in this game. And it seems like it's going to be a single player narrative that kind of takes the Battlefield approach and works through vignettes of individual stories. So yeah, I'm here for it. I look forward to seeing more though, because what we very sparse. So yeah.
Yeah, so with that trailer, you get a shot of it seems very like much a period piece, and you see like kind of World War II kind of theme stuff. You see the Russian gun that Avery spotted out immediately during our
German.
reacts.
It's called
German.
a looter.
There we go.
And
Yeah,
it's
because
pretty much in every game.
yeah, you're not wrong. That shows you how much I know about the setting. And then at the end, you get the 4 characters. You get a soldier. You get
Gabriel Jones.
you get
He's
Black
the only
Panther.
Gabriel Jones, the only black member of the Howling Commandos.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then you get Black Panther, Captain America, and then a um Dora Milaje. How do you?
Yeah, Dora Milaje.
Or Melodra, yeah.
And she has. Did they give her a name?
The other name, I
Nope.
believe it's Nanali.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I'm
Yeah,
saying is
so-
if they really wanted to move units, they would have used my nigga Dum Dum Dugan.
That's a impressive name. So yeah, it looks cool. Like, you know, it's one of those things where it is just a CG trailer. It's really hard to call it even a hype trailer because there wasn't really
It's a
too
tone
much
piece.
shown, and there's no title to the game, which makes it incredibly difficult to like search. So I kind of feel like
Wait, you mean to tell me that the Soldier King Captain Spy isn't the name of the game?
I thought they were doing a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I'm like,
Me too.
okay, well, let's keep going. Oh no, they're talking about the actual characters. Okay.
Yeah, that makes it incredibly difficult to do any kind of SEO around. So it definitely feels like I don't want to call this rush because I'm pretty sure they just have an idea, but this is just like, you know, we just got to throw a trailer up just so we can turn heads because this is our big Disney event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything else out of the thing that caught your eyes?
I mean, my head is still blown by
Come on, DJ.
Avatar
we need to move
Reckoning.
On. We need to move on. We need to move
If
on.
you don't get
we've already
the
litigated this. I was talking about positives.
Honestly, the only other thing really for me, I'm intrigued by there being another Tron game, but then
Oh yeah, Identity.
but then Avery told me that it's basically gonna be a light novel, and
Nothing wrong with light novels.
Oh, interesting.
I'll wait
Kind
and
of
see.
interested in
Well, let's
Illusion
think.
Island.
Before we talk about Illusion Island, like Mike Bithell and Bithell Games aren't a AAA video game developer, so you're never going to get like even though they've done things like Volume and John Wick Hexe, they're a very small team that has a very very autistic approach to game design. None of their games are alike, and every one of their games is a brand new thing. This would be the first time they've really done a visual novel thing, and I trust Mike Bithell as a creator to like expect this to be of a certain quality.
Mm.
But like as a dude starving for that Tron Legacy aesthetic and theme to go forward, and hoping that like fucking after Top Gun Maverick, Disney just throws back the John Krasinski's, not John Krasinski,
Joseph Kaczynski.
Joseph Kaczynski, and just gives him a truckload of money and says, "Come on now, come on, we'll pay Tom Cruise to also be in this movie, but we need a Tom."
No, yeah, I do hope that this is the fact that there is a game that is coming out, a new game coming out in the Tron world. I hope that is indicative of a renewed interest on Disney's part for more Tron content, and if that leads to a third movie, that'd be great. Or even like a mini series or a show in the Tron world, you know. But yeah.
And then Illusion Island, which is the 2D Rayman Legends-esque platformer that's using the more modern Disney Mickey Mouse aesthetic, which I it's not for me in a sense that like I'm not going to run out and play this game, like, but it looks really cool. It really stood out amongst what was a sea of mobile games.
Yeah. Like if you didn't have any idea that you were watching like a game showcase, the trailer they showed, you'd think like, oh, this is a cartoon? And then they kind of switch the gameplay and you're like, oh, this is the actual game. Like, that's really, really cool. Yeah. So like they did a great
Hand-drawn
job
type
with the
stuff.
aesthetic of this. Yeah. Yeah, it looks amazing.
So that was us talking about, well, at least that was us talking about the D23 Expo. Like I said before, we did a full react, myself and Donald, and if you want to check that out, it's on our channels and all of our forums. So check that out, give us the view, give us the likes. We desperately need them. Marcus is living, starving in LA, and he needs to be fed. When I met that man, he was. I'm not gonna make this joke. Marcus has been told my entire life.
He was 200 pounds. Now he's down to. I don't know.
I was gonna make that exact joke. But I'm like, that's a bold-faced lie. It's like
it was about to be like, when I met him, he was fat as fuck.
We're gonna get copyright claim, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. In the eyes of an angel.
All that weight moved somewhere else. All right, go ahead. Next,
the other showcase that we had was the Ubisoft Ubisoft Forward. So hosted by Yusuf. Also thinking about the D23 thing, it was hosted by Blessing Alia Jr. And I'm going to reiterate, shout out to him and Iffy Wildaway for putting us strong African root brothers on the map in terms of media. So
was Iffy being thirsty on Maine?
Iffy has always been thirsty on Maine. I'm not even going through how he is personally fighting for polyamory on the internet. So that's the thing I'm dealing with. So more power to my boy Iffy. But yeah, Ubisoft event hosted by Yusuf Magid. So shout out to our Egyptian brothers out there. But yeah, this was branded as a Assassin's Creed heavy event. And I'm going to keep it a buck. There were some scheduling issues. I didn't watch any of this forward up until the very end because it was right in the middle. It was right in the middle of D23 announcing a bunch of Marvel, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Fox stuff, and that was more interesting to me at the time. So I'm just gonna go on, for the most part, articles I've read and everyone else's impressions as to talk about it. I believe it started with Mario plus Rabbids and the Spark of Hope. More content for that. I'm already sold of that game, so they need to show me much, but how does it look to everyone else?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm going to keep it a buck too. I didn't get a chance to watch this stuff, but I've also been looking at articles and stuff, and like, I am same place where you are, Avery. Like, I'm pretty much sold on Mario plus Rabbids, so I didn't really need to see too much more of it, but it looks pretty good, though. It looks good.
Okay, then it looks like they showed off some Skull and Bones content.
You excited for that, Avery?
We're not going to litigate this. This game has been cursed from the outset. Yeah, I hope it finds it. I hope it, like For Honor, finds its audience.
So, okay, real quick, before we jump to the next game, I was thinking about Skull and Bones because I saw this on the list. and I was like, this. I think I think the confusion is that because Assassin's Creed is a AAA game,
Yeah.
and this game definitely screams like double A.
Oh, this game screams AAA to me.
Does it?
Yes.
See, I think this for me, this is there was more ground stuff, but because it is just limited to boat interactions and just like based off things I've seen, like you just pretty much just doing stuff on the boat, like that's where it's like, oh, okay, that definitely takes off one of those A's for me, and it's just like, all right, it seems like one of those free to play games that's like that's you do the boat
I
stuff,
don't
and that's kind
know.
of
Give us a
I don't
Waterworld
think they
game, you
expect to make any
cowards.
money off of this game.
What do you
Like
say,
I
Sean?
said, I think this game is a fiscal year. We have contracts that need that we are obligated to. That this is the only reason this game is coming out.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some passionate people working on the game from what I've seen, but I really don't think they expect to make money off of it. And it's crazy how many different studios worked on this shit. I didn't realize Ubisoft had this many studios.
We talked about this
Oh,
when we were talking
yeah.
about how I say it, when we were talking about the we're still in the midst of acquisition gate, but we were talking about this earlier when I did look it up. Ubisoft individually has probably more studios than all the other up until Xbox started buying people. Like all the other
Mhm.
studios combined, it's just like all over the world. Like in
Yeah.
places you wouldn't even think there should be a studio in, they are essentially the video game scene, which is actually cool for emergent developers. They're like, hey, there's a AAA studio that you could
It's
Yeah.
Ubisoft in Jamaica.
yeah, Skull and Bones. I'm interested to see how this game shakes out. My expectations aren't high. There's some more. There was some Riders Republic stuff. They were talking about how it's season 4 update. Which shout out to it still surviving enough in a way that Ubisoft wants to advertise it. So cool.
So real quick again, looking through the article, I completely didn't think Riders Republic was going to be on here. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, dope, Riders Republic." I went to find a trailer for this. Couldn't find a trailer. So I don't know what that means, but I just kind of kept it moving. I thought that was really weird.
Are you talking about the BMX stuff?
Yeah,
I saw the trailer. Yeah.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe my search was bad. Jesus. All
Yeah. You don't know how the internet good.
right.
We then got to the Tom Clancy the Division section where we got 3 pieces of Division news. One was them essentially talking about the main Division game, which once again is on season 10, which once again didn't know that they were doing seasonal live service content. So that's cool. Two, they finally announced Division Heartland, which was leaked earlier in the week, and I believe it is going to be the Division if it was Tarkov game, which I'm actually kind of excited about.
What does that
Yeah.
mean?
It's a PvPvE looter shooter game where you're like
Wow.
it's not like
A lot
it's
of
not even
Ps.
like a looter shooter in
Mhm.
that it's hard to parse, but it's like Escape from Tarkov, that type of game.
I mean, it's more Division, but you're fighting off this damn gas. Like it's in sections, and you have like this machine in the middle that you got to stabilize to stave off the gas, and you got gas masks on to put stuff. It's more Division, man. It's just more.
You
damn
fighting
Division.
farts? Disgusting.
Sure.
Deadly
Sure.
farts.
The deadliest.
Then
But
they
yeah,
also
like-
I'm sorry, DJ.
Yeah, for Division, like I think it was a long time. I'm about to play the trailer of Heartland, but a long time ago on this very podcast, I was talking. We had a conversation. Jordan was a part of it, and I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they put zombies in Division." And Jordan was like, "Never." And I was like, "All right, we'll see." And they definitely haven't put zombies in this game yet, but I'm still holding my hopes for that. But
Mhm.
I think
Be
this
gas
Heartland
zombies.
content.
I want to clarify,
Okay,
Heartland is a
wait.
separate game from the Division.
Yeah, and it's a free to play game as well.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool. I think it's a really good idea. I am excited for this, but I'm cautiously optimistic over this because I think if it works well, it would be great. But for me, this is Ubisoft that we're talking about, and
Mhm.
Ubisoft has a very particular style of game that is fun for the first 8 hours
Hour or
or so,
two.
and then it's just like, okay, well, we're just kind of doing the same things over and over again. But I really hope that this you know this changes that format. I don't know. I'm just cautiously optimistic for this game.
Yeah. And then they also showed off Tom Clancy's The Division Resurgence, which is a mobile game. So, enough said, moving on from there. To another mobile game, Rainbow Six Siege is going to be on mobile. So, yay for the Siege heads out there that still exists. They also then talked about a Netflix partnership where they're making a couple of mobile games for Netflix's games division, which once again actually exists, and I forget about all the time. They're also talking about a Assassin's Creed Netflix show, which
Sure,
okay,
man.
Yeah,
Bring back
we'll
Michael
see.
Fassbender, you cowards.
Bring that giant machine he was strapped to.
Wait, they had a
Oh
movie,
man.
didn't they?
Yeah, they
the
did.
They did.
movie is it's even hard to call it good. Like the directing is amazing, but the actual plot and like structure of the movie is just kind of mid, and it's just one of those
Mhm.
things where like a lot of weird choices were made.
Yeah.
It's got Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard in it, so at least it's fun to watch them, I guess.
Do you have any excitement over this show, Avery?
No,
Oh, you
it's
said
on
it's
net.
Netflix, right?
It's
Yeah,
net.
okay,
I
never mind.
immediately don't care about it.
I missed that one word.
They showed off Rocksmith, which I'm really excited. It's still a thing that's going on, and it's actually one of the cooler parts of video games that people sort of forget about. Is that Ubisoft made a guitar training game that
Yeah.
allows you that actually teaches you how to play a guitar, which I think is really dope. And then Just Dance, the game that just won't die, is still out there.
Yeah, that game
But
needs an award.
it's got KDA in it, so I might actually play it this time.
Oh.
Pop Stars is a great
Please
song.
upload some clips.
No, what? You people are lucky that
Content.
you get an hour of footage of me on the internet at all. My social media presence is 0.
Right?
He's not lying.
And then we get to
Pump
the
up the
meat.
numbers.
Yeah, we get to the meat of the forward, which was them sort of detailing the greater Assassin's Creed plan. So I'm going to talk about the plans, and then we can discuss them. First, they showed off Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is not actually a sequel to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it's actually a prequel showing the origins of the Boston character. It's also because of the way the Assassin's Creed timeline works, it's actually a prequel to the original Assassin's Creed. So like it's Middle Eastern locations. It's back to the hidden blade. We're cutting off our finger. It's back to social stealth and like stripped away RPG elements. And they also got I have a hard time pronouncing her name, but Shore Adashlu, who if you don't know, she is Madame Avasarala from Expanse. She's also she's also one of the cast of Arcane, at least the first act of that series. So I'm excited to see her. And then they gave the update to Valhalla, which is going to be the last chapter, which is going to be a large expansion, which is going to be the last bit of content that we're getting for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Then they talked about Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, which is a China, which is a Assassin's Creed game set in China that is a mobile game. Then we got to the meat where they talked about the Assassin's Creed Infinity and what that's going to be and what they're working on. But they revealed the first 2 expansions for Unity or Infinity are going to be Codename Red, which is a Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, which they have said is a very powerful shinobi fantasy. And then we got Assassin's Creed Codename Hexe, which there's no real detail on it, but it has a very heavy Salem Witch Trials aesthetic. Though things I've heard about it seem to indicate it's more Roman influence than sort of like Salem influence, but we'll see how that turns out. And yeah, Valhalla last chapter is 2022. Mirage is 2023, and then with no date, but I'm assuming on this cadence it's going to be 2024. It's going to be Horizon, and they pretty much talked about how most of the Ubisoft's main development teams are working on Horizon. So it very much seems to be a Call of Duty, very, very more of a Call of Duty-esque rollout for that as a brand. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of Assassin's Creed, man. It's like
5 games.
I think
Hoping that
okay.
Assassin Chrissy.
So I think my fear of this is looking at Valhalla and Odyssey, the one before that was Roman, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The issues were
No,
the
it was
issues with
Greek. It was Greek.
it was Greek. Okay. So the issues with those two games was it was great. The gameplay was good, but then the game itself was just entirely too long. And I feel like if this is going to be a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, they're all generally are probably going to play the same except for Mirage. So it's just going to be same gameplay, different clothes. And I don't know. I
And some
hope that
people
there's
like that.
yeah, I know like that's where I'm just kind of that's where I'm kind of like unsure because like this could be amazing for the people who are still playing Valhalla today. But like I just don't know that if that general audience is going to be here for all of this because,
They will. They will.
yeah, I guess. I don't
They got
know.
people who buy FIFA every year, 2K every year, Madden every year, Call of Duty every year. There's people who buy
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed every release and play the shit out of it. It's gonna. They found their bread and butter. I think Avery once told me 75% of what DC puts out is Batman stuff.
Yes.
Ubisoft has found their bread and butter, and they got the numbers and the spreadsheets to see whether it's faltering or not and what they need to change, and
that's
Well,
true.
they're
they,
moving
they,
accordingly.
yeah, to that point, they fixed the faltering issue when they decided to set. Remember, Assassin's Creed used to be annualized. We got an Assassin's Creed game
Yeah,
every year, and I played
that's
them
true.
every year till we got to Origins, in which I was like, I hate the way this game is built now. If this is going to be every year, I'm not sitting here for this every year. They
Yeah.
changed that, and now it became every other year. There was given time to breathe, and now there's actually a distinct time period between these massive games. The question is, we don't know we only know preliminary stuff about Infinity, so we don't know if this we don't know how big these games are going to be, what these games are going to be. Are they just going to be
Yeah.
more like here's a Japan hub area where we're going to put you in RPG Assassin's Creed missions, or is it going to be a massive The Witcher-esque RPG world that they've been working on for a while that they're going to do on an annualized level? We honestly don't have enough data on Infinity to really pass judgment on what it's going to be. But to your point, I am up more to your point, DJ, than Sean's. Even though I agree ultimately with what Sean is saying and that like they've done the data, they know this is going to work. I think games of that size are incredibly daunting, and they will turn away your audience. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. The most interesting thing about this entire Assassin's Creed rollout for me is Mirage, which is not even just a like return to Assassin's Creed form. It even is sort of like a AC1 all over again situation in the way that like, oh, we're in the Middle East, we're doing social stealth, like all of that stuff is back. I'm like, as someone who's hated the giant RPG We Are the Witcher, but in historical locations vibe that the Assassin's Creed games have had for the last 3, I'm super excited for Mirage.
Right. Yeah. Like and then beyond this, I think the only other thing that I am very interested to see would be the Assassin's Creed Red, the Japan game, the whole Shinobi thing, because we have Ghost of Tsushima, and like I feel like for a lot of people that was the Assassin's Creed game that people was yelling at Ubisoft to make, so they kind of just positioned I guess to the consumer, they looked at Ghost as like that game that they wanted, and it did well and it played well and a lot of people liked it. So I
Though there
don't
is a
know.
disconnect there where despite you being able to do ninja shit, that is a game about samurai.
Exactly. That's true. That's
They
true.
they described Red as a shinobi game.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will. I'm. That's going to be another one that I'm going to be looking at, and I
Like,
just.
yeah. To
Yeah.
DJ's point
Yeah.
though, like if it's going in the vein of the modern Assassin's Creed weird open world RPGs, then calling it a shinobi game makes no sense because there's no stealth in those games.
Yeah.
You can stealth,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
like it's not even a main feature of the game.
Right.
So like in my head, that means they're going in more like Mirage is a testing ground for where the games are going in the future, if that makes sense.
Right.
To me.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. I think the Mirage style of combat would make more sense for a Shinobi game than the Valhalla or even Origins. Like, yeah. So
No, yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping that like that is the gameplay differentiation that I'm like wanting. That way, like, yeah, you can play what Hexe, and that is more of like the Valhalla style of combat, and then you can play Red, and that's more of like Mirage style of combat. The only other thing that I'm kind of thinking of is just like, all right, well, they're talking about these games now, but what is that release schedule going to look like, you know? And I guess if these are like 8 to 10 hour experiences, then we could probably
Mhm.
get a few of these throughout the year. But we'll see. We will see.
Anyone else have any
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed thoughts?
I,
Marcus?
as someone who is the I guess least initiated on Assassin's Creed out of everybody here, I do appreciate the fact that they are really leaning back into the assassins from different cultures and like actually having them be assassins. Because from what I've heard, at least for Valhalla and the Roman, is it Roman or Greek?
Honestly.
Yeah, Odyssey. They were kind of assassins in name only.
Yeah, they're not assassins in those games.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see them return to that, like, truly assassins, like having shinobi in Japan, having, the assassins in the Middle East
Get
and all
away
that
from the
stuff.
WWE slobber knockers that they turn into.
It's like
Right.
it's more in line with Black Flag, which is like I love Black Flag, but you are not an assassin in that game. You are a pirate who happens to just take on the clothes of an assassin. But like
Yeah.
that game is very rooted in the Assassin's Creed like meta lore of it.
Sean. But yeah, yeah. So like I think that that's cool that they're doing that again, and I'm intrigued by Red, and from what I've seen of Mirage, I'm intrigued by that as well. So this might be my, like, I don't know, might be my gateway back into checking out Assassin's Creed. And then also
Yeah.
Hexe Hexe is Hellblade until I'm told different.
Oh god.
I for me personally, I just hope they finally stop with like they remember the modern day aspect of Assassin's Creed. Like one of the reasons
Yeah.
I love the original Ezio trilogy up until the end of 3 is that this idea that there was this modern day story that was tying everything together, and that just kind of became like background noise for what the games became. And like
Yeah.
I was of the mindset that if this is what you wanted, that like these like historical RPGs, just get rid of the modern day stuff, but the modern day stuff is still fucking there. So I'm like, figure it out, bring back Desmond Miles, let's move on. Yeah, so still talking about Ubisoft. Here is this is from Matthew Roseman, Tassilo Hummel, and Julie Zhu from Reuters. China's Tencent raised a stake in Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft. So something we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks is that Tencent has been looking like they're trying to make a hostile takeover of Ubisoft in the vein of Vivendi back in the day. But through some legal shenanigans, what ultimately has happened is Tencent has taken I forgot the exact number. But they they've taken so they've become their biggest shareholder at 11%, and which they can further increase to 17%, but that's the cap. they can't go over that for at least the next 8 years. So essentially, what this means is that Tencent now has a bigger interest in Ubisoft. Ubisoft now has a giant influx of cash, which should really help them over the next couple of years as they get their shit together in terms of what they're doing with their games.
Which kind of lines up with all this Assassin's Creed stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone
So
have
right
thoughts?
now, well, yeah, I was gonna say that, like, last week we talked about Tencent putting money into software. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, last
Pro-
week I said From Software because I was getting that confused with Bethesda. It's software. So yeah, it's interesting to see Tencent move in this kind of way where they're just kind of throwing money, not necessarily across the board, but into the properties where they think are going to be lucrative in the future. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. We'll see. It is nice that they had that cap at 17% to make sure Ubisoft doesn't get threatened by a hostile takeover again.
At least for the next 6 to 8 years.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
By that time, the Ubisoft family will be out and they'll be in their
Possibly.
own private island with a bunch of Assassin's Creed stickers
I
and
hear Montenegro is
bobbleheads.
really great this time of year. Anyone else have any thoughts on this Tencent move? No. Okay, so our next story is going to. This is from Paul Tassi. Shout out to you. He's been dealing with a lot of Destiny bullshit over the last couple of years. This man, I don't understand how he has a job. Because all it seems to do is play Destiny and watch Netflix. That's neither here nor there. So Paul Tassi from Forbes. New Overwatch 2 heroes will be unlocked via free battle pass grind, angering players. So yeah, the news came out that instead of heroes being released to everyone free like they've been doing in the past of Overwatch, that all characters are going to be locked behind a battle pass and you have to earn them. So I also did some my own investigating journalism to see what the streets are talking about in regards to Overwatch 2. And I have some information that can or cannot be true. I don't trust it. This is 100% me rumor mongering based on this news right here. So apparently the Battle Pass system is being implemented by Activision Blizzard, the Activision side of Activision Blizzard, because they want every game to be like Warzone. The battle pass will be like $10. Will be about $10 or 1,000 Overwatch coins. So like Overwatch is going to have its unlock. It's going to have its own credit
Premium
in there.
coin.
Yeah. Like I said, Dave said that every new hero is going to be unlocked on the free section of the battle pass. You don't necessarily need to buy it. But you can still pay real money to level up the free section of the battle pass. So there's that. It's going to take, I believe that the new character is going to be on level 20 of the battle pass, while the mythic skin, which is the cool new skins they're putting out that everyone's like it's going to be $45, will be at the level 50 of it. And it's going to take about 12 to 15 hours of average grind to get to level 20.
To get to level 20?
Yeah, to unlock that
12
character.
to 15 hour.
Yeah.
Jesus!
Here's the meat that I think is really problematic, is that
oh boy,
the new you have to. You cannot play ranked, I think, unless you have the new character.
Jesus
So comp
Christ.
is locked unless you have the new character.
Oh my God.
Weeks.
So they're
That's
character
ridiculous.
gating the ranked mode, so it's forcing everyone into quick match?
Eventually, unless you have the new character. So you buy the character day one and you can play rank. Like I said, these are all rumors that I've been pulling off doing investigations. So it cannot be true, but it sounds about right because one of the things we've talked about is that like how gating a character behind like the way Overwatch works. This is all really bad for the way its actual gameplay works, but we'll get to that after I'm done with this. And that the idea that you can miss a character from the battle pass, but the character will become unlockable afterwards, but you have to do specific challenges to win them.
Okay, that's depending on the challenges. That's actually not a bad idea. I think that's kind of cool to still give you opportunities to unlock the characters, but you just have to maybe play just a different way. So that's okay. It depends on if it's like you have to get 80 headshots in order to.
That's-
No, I believe
unlock
the intimation that the estimation that we're getting from my sources are that you gotta win like if for a specific support character, it's going to be win 25 matches in quick play as a support, which is still a grind and a half.
Yeah, because like there's
If you
no
suck, so no, okay. Go ahead.
well, because
Not
like
even if you suck, if your team sucks.
that's what I'm saying. That's the biggest problem. Is this is a team shooter? Like this is not. God damn it! This is not the way. This is not conducive to Overwatch.
Yeah.
This is the
Like
way.
this is a quick tangent, but like there was a similar issue that happened in GBO2 where like early on they had like you do dailies to get premium coin or whatever, and one of the dailies was like you have to win like 5 or 6 matches, and it was just like everyone was just like this is fucking stupid. Like I can do great on my team, but if my team sucks, I get the loss, and it's just like, well, it wasn't my fault. And like, it was a thing of like people complain so much, and they were like, all right, we're just gonna make it 2, and like that felt so much better because like getting 2 wins is not as bad. I really hope that some tweaking goes into this because that's insane. Like that is such a barrier that you would look at that character and be like, I guess I'll just spend money on it. But like, if you're at that point where you're just like, I guess I'll spend money on it, you're more likely you're just not going to play the game. Like you're just going to keep pushing.
I have been very solid in this like the idea that if you have a game that is quote unquote competitive, locking characters behind money is anti-competitive to your game. Hey, I'm Joey Q Public. I'm gonna play Overwatch 2 in year 5 because hey, it's the most popular game on the internet. We'll see. Probably not. Valorant's really hot. But you jump into that game and there by that point there's like 20 brand new characters with power creep and power stuff. Most of the new characters are probably going to be broken and overpowered, and you're jumping into the game with a roster of pretty good. Well, we don't even know if there's gonna be any locking or unlocking bullshit with the current roster, but you're not even given the breadth of the new characters to play with. And unlike a game like Valorant and Apex, who also have this problem with locking characters behind a grind, all those characters functionally play the same in terms of gunplay. This is a game where every character plays differently because every character uses different guns, and they're mostly ability based. So like,
and some of them don't even use guns.
Sombra plays differently than Winston. Winston plays differently than Zenyatta. They all function differently. And then you got situations where like people are pointing out, like Farah is one of the coolest characters in the game. She also can be one of the most broken characters in the game if you're not playing a hitscan character. So hey, what if all the hitscan characters are now locked behind a battle pass that you can't get to, which means Farah just instantly becomes the most. It shifts the way the meta works. Where like now the meta works on who can you unlock. It's dumb. Like ignoring the whole we're taking away the free part of the what made Overwatch 1 so fantastic is that you got pretty much all the content of the game for free. This instantly, like taking away all that, this instantly shifts the way the game fundamentally functions in a way that I don't think Blizzard is prepared to deal with.
I know you want to go, Marcus. I just want to say one thing. Like, if this is the case, then give me the option to pay $70 for Overwatch.
Well, they are.
I'll buy the game.
They are. There's a Founders Edition, but that doesn't give you everything going forward. It just gives you.
Oh yeah.
At launch.
It makes me sad to say this, but this is like really took a hit to my anticipation for Overwatch 2.
Me
like,
too.
Yeah, man.
You like essentially you have to live in this game to be able to enjoy it and not spend money.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not like my game plans with this were to play it with you guys every once in a while and then play the single player stuff when it comes out. But like now it's like, all right, dude, you kind of have to keep playing this forever if you want to unlock the new characters and play the new content in the game.
Yeah.
Like I was already a little wary when I found out they were going free to play. Like I understood it from just reading the tea leaves of the industry, but
Yeah.
I was already kind of like, does that work for this style of game? And everything I found out since then has given me big pause. Man, this is disappointing.
I
Cause like,
also, oh no, continue.
no, cause like this was my shooter essentially. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I was never that. I had fun playing Warzone with you guys during the pandemic,
Pandemic.
but I was never any good at it. And then like Apex, finding out recently there's a reason why I was never going to be good at the game, because I was playing with people that were so far ahead of me that it fucked up my
It wasn't your fault, Marcus. You were just in the wrong train.
exactly, like it messed up my queuing. So Overwatch was my game where I was like, I put in the time, the man hours, I got really good at it with different roles, and I was like, this is my shit. I love Overwatch. It became my go-to. And so seeing it be like this, man, it's just all of
What
these
is life
decisions that
anymore?
they've, yeah,
I-
like,
we're gonna wrap up and move on to the next story.
yeah,
But I want to point out that one of the things Microsoft has talked about how Activision Blizzard games are going to be on Game Pass. And one of my big things was like, how the fuck do you put a free to play game on Game Pass? Here's your answer. All these characters will be unlocked for you if you play it, if you have Game Pass, which
That's a good
is
point.
my Xbox fans out there, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but that seems super fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's a solid point. Like, yeah, it would be interesting to be like a fly on the wall to see like what the actual talks are, the conversation in terms of making this kind of change to the game that everyone's been, not everyone, but a lot of people have been playing for what, 8 years now.
What,
So
Overwatch?
yeah, so like it's just
like, last thing I'll say before we go is like, as someone who at this point has probably played more consecutive hours of Overwatch than maybe everybody combined, it's there's still like, even asking me, who puts a lot of time into Overwatch when I'm able to continuously grind in this game to unlock shit, that's not even feasible for me. And I'm like, cause I got people got shit to do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
I hope that most of this is just rumors and conjecture, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it did turn out to be true. And that'd be
yeah.
extremely disappointing.
I hope there's enough like jabber and stuff to get them to turn their heads about some of this stuff because it needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's Activision Blizzard, so I doubt it's going to happen.
That's
If this
that's
is
true.
true, it's Activision Blizzard, it's doubt's going to happen. If the word of the street, if it's like this because of Warzone, then there's no way in hell they're changing it. They want to make
That's a
money
good
off of this
point.
game.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is still talking about Overwatch 2. This is a short story. This is by Levi Winslow from Kotaku. New Overwatch 2 hero leaks a teleporting fox girl who plays support. So I'm pretty sure Blizzard accidentally leaked this. Because
Yeah.
here's the story. Here's the extra of the article. Well, Blizzard's surprise has been spoiled. Late last night, a YouTuber named Karibo Cervantes uploaded a video revealing Overwatch 2's newest hero, Kiriko. The company tried cracking down on the content, an unfinished animated short that gives a bit of a backstory for who Kiriko is and shows off some of her abilities, but it's already too late. The cinematic is easily findable online. So yeah, new cinematic report. We already teased when they showed. They said, and a brand new support character, and they showed that weird fox ring through what seems like a Japanese pagoda, and I see that is now tied to this new character, Kiriko. There's not much to know about what her abilities are and what she is beyond a support person with a spirit fox. That being said, this is the first time I've sat and looked at an Overwatch design and said, man, I think I'm over Overwatch's design settings.
Wow.
Yeah, I have her face on screen right now, and it's yeah. I mean, we'll see what she looks like when she moves
I
around.
mean,
I guess
she's a fox. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not a bad design,
No, it's
but
not a bad design. I just think the design language of the character design in Overwatch, like, if she wasn't wearing codedly Japanese clothing, would you think this was a Japanese character?
Yeah, I get what you mean. In that way, yeah.
It's kind of like how it's kind of like Miyazaki, where it's like some of these are Japanese characters, but would you know it? But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean.
What is
I,
it?
Which Miyazaki were we talking about? We're talking about Hayao Miyazaki or Hidetaka Miyazaki from Dark Souls.
Hayao.
Okay, yeah. I think, but
But
that's just like I get that. That's very much a art thing, but that doesn't really try to like. It's rare of an occasion where like, oh man, this character is Japanese and this character is British. That's rare in Hayao Miyazaki movie. But this is one of those things where I'm like, I saw this character and I thought back and I'm like, what part of diva says Asian?
her voice lines. But what
I mean, from just design perspective.
yeah, I think if anything, I'm just excited that there's another support character because they have been starving for support for a while now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into Matt Booty Dreams, if you're watching us, you're having a great time with us, as we're having a great time with ourselves, because we're just cool people. We ask that you please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and then hit that notification bell, because we need those three things. We also need another couple things from you. If you are listening to this podcast, even if you're not listening to this podcast, download the podcast. Podcast is great. It's just more of us, but in your ears versus in your ears and eyes. Yeah. So make sure you pause this podcast, leave us a review, and then unpause this podcast. It's not much. You can do those things. You can do those things. Yeah. So that way you will stay up to date to all the stuff we have going on. For example, we did a live reaction to D23, aka Disney Marvel Game Showcase, and it was amazing. And you're not watching it because you're watching this right now, but you're gonna go watch that after you watch this because we know you. So yeah, just we just thank you. We just thank you for doing all that stuff, watching all of our content and keeping us going. So thanks.
Okay, so this is a very weird story, and it's not one I normally like to do because I think I've been on record on podcasts and all podcasts. I don't like just like studio figureheads just talking, just giving out like quotes and that being the story. But this is one that has an interesting context to actual industry movement that I think it's worth talking about. This is from VGC. This is from Chris Scullion. Xbox's Matt Booty dreams of having AI as QA testers. So what he's talking about is that he's talked with members of the AI research team at Microsoft and say, hey, is it possible for you guys to create an AI that can QA test our games? And now what he describes is actually really insane for game development, but here's where it's fucked up. So what he wants is that, here's the direct quote, because I would love to be able to start up 10,000 instances of a game in the cloud. So there's 10,000 copies of the game running, deploying AI bot to spend all night testing that game. Then in the morning we get a report, because that would be transformative. That is absolutely true. But in the context of you purchasing Activision Blizzard, who are going currently through a PR nightmare because of the way they treated their QA testers, this is one of the most tone-deaf things I've ever heard from a Microsoft executive.
Did somebody ask him?
I mean, with a last name like Booty, are you surprised that his takes are ass?
So like,
all right, I'll see y'all later.
That's my time. I mean, like, did he have to talk about this at the Q&A? Like,
no,
yeah,
I don't have a breakdown of the exact like notes of what the Q&A was about. But it seems like, or at least the way this article is written, so it could be here or there biased. It seems that this is an unprompted, off the cuff thing that he wants.
Yeah, like it's, for lack of better words,
you have to know that jobs that go into automation, though.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, yeah, but this is just stupid. It's stupid in that what he's saying is that AI is going to basically run the game and generate a report, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that AI is going to be better than testers. It's just going to be more AI.
Yeah,
But like
people do stupid shit, and you can't program that.
exactly, like the because so for those who don't know, I used to test games in my younger years.
Specifically for Bethesda.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's that job is about not following rules. So to have an AI to build an AI to not follow rules is
That's hard.
mind-boggling.
That's
Yeah,
hard. Yeah.
it's like the actual researchers have to like I wouldn't even know how you would start machine learning something like that because yeah, I don't know. But
That's
this
not
is kind of
something you
dumb
want getting out
and
into the wild.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
But
That's a larger
niggas want us
conversation.
to die. They are ready
That
for us
might
to
be the
die.
start of Skynet.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
They had good
An AI
intentions.
that doesn't follow rules. If an AI can say no to me, oh, it's a wrap.
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
You're like, wait, you're not gonna kill me or anything. It's like, I don't know, am I?
Let's
I
test
would
it out.
never.
Yeah, that's not something I think that there are good intentions there, but there's some things you can't program, and there's some things you shouldn't program.
Yeah.
There,
And then
there's that
on top of
phrase.
that, good.
I was just gonna say there's that phrase. They never stop to ask if they should.
Oh, yeah. But like
It's
the other
always
side,
can I, never should I.
yeah. The other side to this is that we actually had an example of this happen in game, I guess, current game history, but it just wasn't really talked about. No Man's Sky had AI testing.
Mm.
So I just don't know if it was AI testing before it launched or after it launched. But the issue was that yeah, the report was generated, but QA testers still had to go through the report and like, determine if
Replicate.
things
Yeah.
were good. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's one of those things where a higher up guy had a dream, talked to some people, and was like, "Yeah, that's a really cool idea." But he just doesn't understand the actual nitty gritty to it. Where it's just like this
Yeah.
is
For me, it's not even
it's
the for me, it's not even the nitty gritty of whether this is possible. For me, it's nitty gritty of what are the optics of you of like currently buying Activision Blizzard and them having unionized, like building a union to protect their QA testers, and then
yeah.
you being like, we want to put you out of a job.
Yeah, and that's absolutely like that. Yeah, that definitely does not look good for Matt Booty, and that's just another just mess for
He's
him
right up in
to
there in the
wade
Hall of
through.
Fame with Don Matrick.
It's a mess.
Yeah. But this is one of those rare faux pas that Xbox has that like, no like Xbox diehards aren't going to hear about this and be like, oh no, who cares about this? PS like Sony ponies are going to hear about this and be screaming out the hills of like, how dare you? But like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like, like this is a story that's going to blow over real quick. Because the main story that we want to talk about is the blow for the public blows between Xbox and Sony. This is a story from GamesIndustry.biz. This is from Christopher Dring. PlayStation's Call of Duty offer was inadequate on many levels. So we talked about last week that Phil Spencer has sent out a public email letter about Call of Duty, and like we sort of got context for like what the actual plans for Call of Duty were going to be going forward. A little bit context, and this was in reference to regulators questioning the Microsoft the Microsoft Activision deal. Fair. Jim Ryan came out. Yeah. Where's the exact quote? Yeah, I think the exact quote from Jim Ryan is Microsoft has offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation,
with Xfinity Internet, you get advanced security that helps protect you at home.
The impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have their highest quality of Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines that principle. So the public sentiment right now is that Sony is whining. They're crying about this Call of Duty stuff. It's not That's not and they are in the wrong for complaining about this. I think these are two I'm going to continue parroting this hot that these acquisitions of this caliber are bad and not great for the industry. No one can convince me otherwise. Microsoft, this letter and this reveal that the only reason that Jim Ryan has come out and talked about this is that Phil Spencer used the letter he sent in private as a PR move to sell the Microsoft Activision deal. So Jim Ryan came out in public and said, we denied that letter that he's telling us that he sent it. This is why we delayed it. So
Denied it.
Denied it. There we go. I can't talk. And so now these two public figureheads are going to fight in the public sphere. Microsoft has the best PR in the world as long as Phil Spencer doesn't act like a businessman. They have the best PR in the world, and pretty much everyone hates Jim Ryan. So this conversation was lost the minute it was out of Jim Ryan's mouth. But I'm of the mindset that if I was a Sony customer and I played only Call of Duty, I would be angry that Sony didn't fight to keep it on the console.
Yep. It's okay.
No, and I don't understand why people think that Sony why Sony would help Microsoft win this major acquisition.
Yeah. And so Xbox was going to give PlayStation Call of Duty for 3 years.
After their contract.
Yeah, after their contract. Yeah. But like the way that Call of Duty has kind of been going, well, I guess if they continue the track of doing Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer, then you will get 3 games. But if they say, yeah, we're going to give you 3 years, and Microsoft like, okay, we're actually going to change the release schedule of Call of Duty, so it comes out every 2 years or something like that, then PlayStation is really only getting 1 game. But that's contract stuff that might not actually work the way that I'm saying it's going to work. But this is just Jim Ryan doing his job in terms of making sure that Call of Duty stays on PlayStation as best as he can, knowing that it's going to go to the competitor. And, Phil Spencer is entertaining this whole conversation, but at the same time, he's also doing his job by trying to position Microsoft or Xbox as being the premier console. Yeah. So it is one of those things where it's just like, at this point, it's just them two going back and forth, and it's like,
and Microsoft has better PR. They just do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, can y'all just figure this out and then let us know what happens? Like, we don't. This just back and forth. It's just
the interesting thing that Jim Ryan has sort of revealed with hey, these are their plans and this is why we said no. Is it sort of goes backwards on things that Microsoft, like bigwigs, have said openly about the Call of Duty deals at the outset of the deal. We're like, oh, we're going to treat it like Minecraft. This does not sound like you're treating it like Minecraft.
We'll treat it like Minecraft for 3 years. Yeah. It's.
Yeah, I'm wondering what concessions they wanted from Sony.
Last of Us. You give us Last of Us.
They get more,
and then we'll think about it.
We'll continue to release it as long as y'all take, instead of 30% from microtransactions, 10% or something like that.
Oh man.
Which is like, if you look, we've seen the fucking sales charts that Call of Duty makes up number 1 and 2 on all fucking sales charts that it appears on.
Every year.
That is a bad. I get why you're fighting for this. And then there is the argument. There is the argument about, and I've heard this parried around multiple times, that stop complaining, Sony, build your own fucking Call of Duty and everything like that. And I'm like, have any of you guys paid attention to the last 5 years of video games? Yeah. Every game that's gone up against Call of Duty and tried has failed. And even when the Call of Duty games were bad, they still beat them 10-1. Literally, Microsoft, the company that's just bought Call of Duty, tried it with Halo Infinite, and we see how that's working out.
That's like squaring up with Marvel at this point.
I don't give the Call of Duty games any extra credit. I'm not their core audience. I play Call of Duty.
Right.
3 to 4 years after it's come out, and I only played a single player campaign, and I judge it based on the single player campaign. But like to sit here and minimize its place in terms of gaming, it's insane. People bring up the Switch and things like that, and to that I would argue that the Switch isn't marketing to those Call of Duty like the same audience.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Not even
Not
close.
at all. Yeah.
The dude who buys 1 or 2 games, one of those being Call of Duty, isn't buying a Switch.
they got it for their kids. They don't see it as a real viable system.
Baby boo boo games, as our other Williams
scholar.
once said.
But they got Splatoon. That's a shooter, isn't it?
You mean that game where the kids are skeeting ink all over everybody?
Oh god.
I ain't playing that shit.
Sorry.
Oh man, yeah. But it's squabbling, but there's truth to the squabble of like, yeah, no, we can't, like 3 years is not enough. It's just not enough time. And like we've seen that, like, especially if you look at it now, right? Say when that 3 years happens, it's on a Treyarch game. And Treyarch games just doesn't do as well as Infinity Ward games. And it's like, all right, well, that's it. And then the next game is like Modern Warfare 3 or something. It's like, oh my God, like this is a big game. This is a big game. And it's like, oh, it's not coming to PlayStation. And it's like, yeah, well, we followed the contract. We gave you 3 years, but just how it crumbles, And PlayStation doesn't want that. And then, like, yeah, no one would want that. So no one wants Treyarch games, you know what I mean? But yeah. Sucks. But
Anyway.
they'll figure it out.
All right, once again, we'll see how this Activision Blizzard deal goes through. They're still under regulatory scrutiny on multiple accounts. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. It might even go into 2023 at the the latest of how long it goes through, and we'll see how everything moves from there. Yeah, and that's the last.
Well, that is it for our podcast. We hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we enjoyed making this podcast. In case you missed any of this, you can find all the details and more on our website at pressx2start.com. I don't know. If you haven't already, we ask that you please like this podcast, you please subscribe to the channel, and then you hit that notification bell. If you are listening, please pause this podcast and leave a review. If it is a good review, we will read it off in our podcast. Maybe we'll laugh, maybe we'll cry, maybe we'll find you in real life and give you a hug. With the mask on, of course, because pandemic is still out here and COVID's not playing around. Yeah, I think with that being said, we can end this thing and go on our merry ways, Yeah, I think we'll do that. All right, you be safe, you take care, you play some more video games, and you wash your hands.
I haven't been
Peace.
here for the last 20 minutes because I was watching VCT. Shout out to Alfaya. Alfaya. Let's go. Something good happening today.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Uno out.